Let me tell you something straight. Your excuses today are the tombstones of your tomorrows, all because you decided to settle for comfort over conquest. Good morning, YouTube. This is Ray, talking to you like Vusi would. Unfiltered, relentless, and unapologetically real. Excuses are seductive. They come dressed in the language of intelligence. They sound reasonable, rational, even strategic. But at their core, they are nothing more than cowardice masquerading as wisdom. Most people who don't make it in life don't fail because they were underqualified or because the world was against them. They fail because they became artists of self-deception, painting over their lack of execution with the brush of excuses. Listen carefully. You've probably said it yourself. I'm waiting for the right time. Doesn't that sound clever, almost strategic? But peel it back and what you're really saying is, I'm afraid to act. I'm waiting for comfort to arrive before I commit. And comfort never comes. Success is never born out of perfect conditions. It is born in chaos, in uncertainty, in risk. The people who make it understand this. Strategy without execution is nothing more than eloquent procrastination. Excuses have become the modern man's religion. They give people meaning, a reason to explain away mediocrity. They provide a false sense of safety. I didn't start the business because the economy is tough. I didn't take the opportunity because I didn't have capital. I didn't push harder because the timing wasn't right. Do you see the pattern? Each of these phrases cloaks itself as logic, but the truth is, it's fear disguised as intelligence. Strategy says, I will prepare, I will calculate, and then I will act. Excuses say, I will prepare, I will calculate, and then I will wait. And here's the problem. While you're waiting, someone else is building. While you're perfecting your reasons, someone else is perfecting their results. You're polishing your speech, they're polishing their product. You're selling yourself a story, they're selling to the market. Excuses are not neutral, they are corrosive. They eat away at your potential. They convince you that stalling is smart, when in reality stalling is suicide. I want you to picture two people standing at the edge of a cliff. Both want to cross. One says, the winds are too strong, the rocks are slippery, let me wait until it's safe. The other says it's dangerous, but if I don't jump now, I'll die on this side anyway. Who survives? The one who moves, because the world doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards audacity. The timid write journals about what could have been. The bold write history about what became. Excuses are like chains. The more you use them, the heavier they become. You start with one small reason, then another, and before long, you've built a prison of your own making. And here's the worst part. You hold the key, yet you choose to stay locked in. You convince yourself it's safer inside. But that prison doesn't protect you. It buries you alive. Let's be honest. People love the illusion of strategy because it makes them feel smart without forcing them to take risks. It's easy to hold long meetings, to make beautiful PowerPoint slides, to talk endlessly about plans. But the battlefield doesn't care about your plans. Execution is the great equalizer. Ideas are cheap, dreams are abundant, excuses are infinite, but execution is rare, and that is why winners are rare. When you look at those who made it, you'll notice something. They too had every reason not to. They too could have said, the timing isn't right, the conditions aren't fair, the system is against me. But they didn't. They looked at the same obstacles, the same storms, and they chose to act anyway. That's the difference. Excuses are universal. Everyone has them. What separates the extraordinary from the ordinary is the decision to discard them. So here's the brutal truth. Your excuses will kill you long before failure ever does. Failure at least teaches. Excuses only numb. Failure breaks you, but in the breaking you learn to rebuild stronger. Excuses seduce you into stillness, and stillness is the slowest death you can ever die. If you truly want to make it, you must develop the discipline to call your own bluff. Catch yourself when you dress fear in the language of strategy. Ask yourself, am I being smart or am I being scared? Because 9 times out of 10 it's not strategy, it's fear, and fear is the enemy. The people who win are not necessarily the smartest. They are the ones who strip themselves of every excuse until all that is left is action. They don't wait for perfect timing, they don't wait for resources, they don't wait for permission. They move, they risk, they execute, and because they move, they grow. Because they risk, they learn. Because they execute, they win. So stop decorating your excuses with fancy words. Stop giving weakness the dignity of being called wisdom. If you want to make it, you must learn this lesson. Execution trumps excuses every single time. Hope is beautiful, but it is dangerous. It is the drug most people overdose on. It makes you feel good in the moment. It convinces you that tomorrow will somehow be better, that life will miraculously bend in your favor. Hope whispers promises of success, of change, of breakthrough. But without hustle, without grind, without relentless action, hope becomes nothing more than a lullaby that rocks you into the sleep of mediocrity. Look around, everyone hopes. The broke man on the street hopes to be rich. The student failing his exams hopes to pass. The man who never shows up to the gym hopes to get in shape. Hope is universal. But results belong to the minority, because results demand hustle, and hustle is rare. The truth is, the gap between where you are and where you want to be is not filled with hope. It is filled with work. Work that is dirty, unglamorous, unseen. Work that requires waking up when you don't feel like it. Work that demands you keep pushing even when no one is clapping. That's what hustle is. It's not motivation. It's not excitement. It's not even inspiration. Hustle is discipline in motion. Most people love the dream but hate the grind. They love imagining themselves in the mansion, driving the car, wearing the suit, being applauded. But they hate the sleepless nights, the early mornings, the rejections, the discipline, the sacrifice. They want the promise without the price. That's why they never make it. Because hope without hustle is like planting seeds but never watering them. You will stand in the field of your life staring at barren soil, wondering why nothing grew, when the answer is simple. You never did the work. Hope is a liar when it's not backed by hustle. It convinces you that because you want it badly enough, somehow the universe will conspire in your favor. But the universe doesn't reward desire. It rewards discipline. It doesn't pay you for wishing. It pays you for working. The world doesn't bend to dreamers. It bends to doers. Ask yourself, how many times have you said, "I hope this year will be better"? And then what? Did you put in the hours? Did you change your habits? Did you cut the distractions, the toxic relationships, the laziness that ate up your time? Or did you just light a candle of hope and sit there waiting? Hope is passive. Hustle is aggressive. Hope waits for things to happen. Hustle makes them happen. The pain of hustle is temporary, but the pain of regret is eternal. You can sweat now or you can bleed later. You can grind when it's hard, or you can spend the rest of your life explaining why you never did. Regret is the tax you pay when you choose comfort over courage. Regret is the bitter taste left behind when you realize that hope without hustle bought you nothing but wasted years. Think of the people you admire, the ones who actually made it. Do you really think they got there because they just hoped their way to the top? They hustled, they clawed, they fought, they sacrificed things you'll never see. And here's the kicker. They hoped too, but their hope was gasoline. Their hustle was the engine. That combination moves mountains. Hope alone, it doesn't even move you out of bed. The marketplace doesn't care about your dreams. It doesn't care how much you hope. It only respects results. It only respects execution. That means if you want to be taken seriously, if you want your life to change, you must anchor your hope in hustle. You must back every desire with discipline, every vision with velocity, every wish with work. Understand this. Success doesn't come to those who hope the most. It comes to those who hustle the hardest. You can pray all you want. You can visualize all you want. You can talk about your dreams all you want. But at the end of the day, the only thing that counts is what you did when the alarm clock rang, when the opportunity came, when the pressure mounted. Did you hustle or did you hide? Because hope without hustle is not only useless, it's dangerous. It gives you the illusion of progress while you stand still. It tricks you into believing you're moving when in reality you're circling the same place year after year. And one day you'll wake up, older, tired, filled with regret, realizing that you mistook wishing for working. If you want to live a life without regret, then you must marry hope with hustle. You must take the energy of your dreams and convert it into action. Every day, no excuses, no delays. Hustle is not glamorous, but it is transformative. Hustle is what turns the invisible into the visible, the imagined into the real. Hustle is what separates the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the winners. So here's the truth. Keep your hope, but make sure it's strapped to hustle. Hope will give you vision, but hustle will give you victory. And in the end, victory is the only language the world respects. Comfort is seductive. It feels warm, safe, and familiar. It whispers to you that you've done enough, that you deserve a break, that you can rest a little longer. But make no mistake, comfort is the silent assassin of ambition. It doesn't attack loudly. It doesn't strike in the open. It creeps in quietly, makes a home in your habits, and before you realize it, your fire is gone. Every dreamer begins with hunger, that gnawing, burning desire to be more, to do more, to live beyond the ordinary. But somewhere along the way, comfort shows up and says, "You've already come far. Why push further?" And many listen. They mistake progress for arrival. They confuse a little success with ultimate success. That's how comfort kills, by convincing you that where you are is good enough when you know deep down it's not. Think of the athlete who trains with fire when no one knows his name. He pushes, he bleeds, he sacrifices. Then one day he wins and suddenly the fire cools. Comfort tells him he's arrived. Slowly his edge fades, his ambition softens, and before long the same hunger that built him is gone. That is how champions fall, not from failure, but from comfort. Comfort does not demand that you quit. It simply demands that you slow down. It convinces you that tomorrow is guaranteed, that opportunities will wait, that your potential can be stored for later. But later never comes. Later is the graveyard where ambitions go to die. The problem with comfort is that it disguises itself as happiness. People think they're satisfied, but in truth they're stagnant. They think they're at peace, but they're imprisoned. Comfort is a velvet coffin. Soft, beautiful, inviting. But still a coffin. And too many people climb in willingly. Ambition is not compatible with comfort. Ambition requires discomfort, risk, sacrifice. Ambition means saying no when everyone else is saying yes. It means showing up when you don't feel like it. It means refusing to settle even when settling is the easier option. Ambition demands that you live on the edge of your limits, not curled up in the arms of safety. Look at history. Every great innovator, every leader, every builder, they all had to walk away from comfort. They left stable jobs, familiar towns, steady paychecks. They walked into the unknown. Why? Because ambition demanded it. You cannot build greatness while holding on to comfort. You cannot reach extraordinary while clinging to ordinary. The tragedy is that most people never even realize when comfort has stolen their ambition. They tell themselves, "I'm happy, I'm fine where I am," but deep down they feel the itch, the restlessness, the quiet regret, that voice that whispers, "You could have been more." They silence it with entertainment, distractions, small pleasures. But the voice never goes away. That is the curse of comfort. You look content on the outside, but inside you know you've betrayed yourself. Understand this. The price of ambition is discomfort, the nights of doubt, the mornings of fatigue, the rejection, the risk, the uncertainty. That's the toll, and if you're unwilling to pay it, comfort will gladly collect you. But when comfort collects you, it doesn't return you. It locks you into mediocrity forever. Ambition dies quietly, not in one dramatic moment, but slowly through compromise. You skip one practice, you delay one call, you turn down one opportunity because the timing isn't right. And slowly the flame dims. That's how comfort kills you, not with a gunshot, but with a lullaby. But here's the good news. The cure for comfort is courage. The courage to leave safety. The courage to choose growth over ease. The courage to embrace the grind when your body wants to rest. The courage to demand more of yourself, even when no one else is watching. Ambition is not something you have. It's something you protect. And the greatest threat to it is not failure. It's not rejection. It's comfort. So if you want to live a life of ambition, you must declare war on comfort. You must deliberately put yourself in rooms where you feel small, in projects where you feel stretched, in situations where you feel unprepared. Because discomfort is the birthplace of growth. Discomfort sharpens you. Discomfort fuels you. Discomfort forces you to evolve. You cannot build a legacy in the arms of comfort. You cannot change the world while clinging to safety. You cannot unleash your full potential if you're busy protecting your current position. Comfort will kill your ambition. It will assassinate your hunger, and it will do it quietly with your permission. So ask yourself, are you ambitious or are you comfortable? Because you cannot be both. One will always kill the other. If you want to live with ambition, you must be willing to suffer discomfort. You must be willing to leave behind the soft bed of safety and run toward the hard ground of growth. Only then will you know what you're truly capable of. Comfort is a silent assassin. Don't let it murder your ambition while you sleep. Wake up, get up, and never ever get comfortable. Motivation is overrated. It is the sugar rush of personal developments. Wheat, energizing, but gone in minutes. People chase motivation like addicts, waiting for the next video, the next book, the next speech to pump them up. But here's the truth. Motivation will not carry you through the hard days. Motivation will not drag you out of bed at 5 a.m. when your body aches. Motivation will not make you keep going when rejection breaks your spirit. Discipline will. Every single time, motivation is emotional. Discipline is deliberate. Motivation says, I feel like it, so I'll do it. Discipline says, I don't feel like it, but I'll do it anyway. And that's why discipline wins, because life is not built on feelings. Feelings lie, feelings are inconsistent. Discipline doesn't ask for your feelings. It demands your commitment. Think about it. How many gyms are full in January, buzzing with motivated people making resolutions? And how many are empty in March, silent except for the few who stayed? That's the difference. Motivation starts journeys. Discipline finishes them. Discipline is unglamorous. It's not exciting. It doesn't feel good. It's repetition, monotony, routine. It's saying no when you want to say yes. It's sacrificing the party for the work, the comfort for the growth, the easy road for the hard one. Discipline is ugly in the moment, but beautiful in its reward. Motivation, on the other hand, is beautiful in the moment and ugly in its results. Because it leaves you stranded the moment the feeling fades. The champions you admire are not fueled by motivation. They are fueled by discipline. The athlete doesn't train every day because he's motivated. He trains because he's disciplined. The entrepreneur doesn't grind through failure after failure because she's motivated. She grinds because she's disciplined. The student who excels, the leader who builds, the artist who creates, they are not relying on inspiration to strike. They rely on discipline to act whether or not inspiration ever comes. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the firewood. Without discipline, the spark dies instantly. With discipline, the fire grows into something unstoppable. That is why those who depend on motivation fade away, while those who master discipline endure. The problem is, most people want success to feel good. They want the process to be comfortable, exciting, inspiring, and the moment it isn't, they quit. They chase a new dream, a new idea, a new source of motivation. But those who win understand that success is not about feeling. It's about finishing. Discipline is what carries you when feelings fail. Discipline is a contract you sign with yourself that doesn't expire. It is the promise that says, I will show up every day, no matter how I feel. And every time you keep that promise, you build strength. Every time you keep that promise, you build character. Every time you keep that promise, you become unstoppable. Motivation is external. It comes from outside. Discipline is internal. It comes from within. That's why discipline is more powerful. You don't need anyone to fire you up. You don't need a speech or a soundtrack. You just need to decide. Discipline is a choice made daily, often in silence without applause. And it is in that silence that greatness is built. Ask yourself, how many times have you quit because the motivation faded? How many projects have you started but never finished? How many goals did you declare in excitement only to abandon them in boredom? That is the price of relying on motivation. It betrays you. Discipline doesn't. Discipline shows up. Discipline delivers. The truth is, if you only work when you're motivated, you will never build anything lasting. But if you work when you're tired, when you're uninspired, when you're doubting yourself, that's when you separate yourself from the crowd. That's when discipline shapes you into the kind of person who doesn't just dream, but does. Discipline is freedom. It sounds harsh, but it is true. The person who is disciplined with their time is free from procrastination. The person who is disciplined with their money is free from debt. The person who is disciplined with their body is free from disease. Discipline creates the freedom that motivation can never give you. You must decide, do you want to be motivated or do you want to be disciplined? Because one gives you a feeling, the other gives you a future. One gives you a high, the other gives you habits. One makes you feel good for a moment, the other makes you unstoppable for a lifetime. So stop waiting to feel motivated. Stop waiting for the mood to strike. Stop waiting for someone to push you. Build discipline. Show up when it's hard. Work when it's boring. Persist when it's painful. Because in the end, motivation will betray you. Discipline never will. And that is why discipline wins over motivation. Every single time. Ambition is loud when you declare it, but it is quiet when you must deliver it. Anyone can stand up and say, I want to be successful. I want to build something great. I want to change my life. That is easy. Words are cheap. But ambition is not judged by what you say, it is judged by how you hold yourself accountable when no one is watching. The brutal truth is this: ambition without accountability is just fantasy. It's daydreaming with fancy language. People love to say they're ambitious. They love the applause that comes when they talk about their dreams. But when it comes time to wake up early, to stay disciplined, to take the hits and still keep moving, that's where most people fail. They think ambition is enough. It is not. Ambition demands self-accountability. You cannot outsource accountability. You cannot keep waiting for a mentor to check on you, a boss to remind you, or a friend to motivate you. If your ambition is real, you are the one who holds the line. You are the one who keeps the promise, because no one else is coming to save you. No one else is going to drag you to greatness. It is you. It has always been you. Accountability is brutal because it strips you of excuses. It forces you to admit that if you didn't execute, it wasn't because the timing was wrong, or the market was tough, or people didn't believe in you. It was because you failed to show up. That's a hard truth to swallow, and that's why most people avoid it. They would rather protect their ego than pursue their ambition. They would rather look good than be great. Ambition doesn't care about your excuses. Ambition doesn't care about your feelings. Ambition is not a slogan you wear on a t-shirt. Ambition is the standard you set for yourself and the discipline you apply to meet it. Consistently, relentlessly, unapologetically. Ambition is not about hoping others will understand your journey. It is about understanding it yourself and holding yourself to it, even when no one is clapping. Self-accountability is not glamorous. It looks like waking up when the alarm goes off and not hitting snooze. It looks like turning off the TV when everyone else is watching. It looks like saving money when you'd rather spend. It looks like saying no to comfort because you said yes to your ambition. Every small decision becomes a vote for or against your future. And if you are ambitious, you count those votes carefully. The difference between those who make it and those who don't is not talent. It is not luck. It is not opportunity. It is accountability. The successful are ruthless about holding themselves to the standard they declared. They don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for applause. They don't wait for perfect timing. They demand of themselves every day that they honor their ambition through their actions. Ambition without accountability creates liars. People lie to themselves, saying, I'll start tomorrow. They lie to others, saying, I'm working on it. They create elaborate excuses that sound like strategy, but the scoreboard doesn't lie. Your results don't lie. If you didn't do it, you didn't do it. And ambition doesn't reward intention. It rewards execution. Understand this. If you are truly ambitious, you will stop looking outward and start looking inward. You will stop blaming the system, the government, your parents, your boss, your circumstances. You will stand in the mirror and realize the reflection is both the problem and the solution. That is self-accountability. That is when ambition becomes real. It is not easy. Accountability is uncomfortable because it forces you to confront your laziness, your procrastination, your distractions. But discomfort is the price of growth. Comfort keeps you soft. Accountability makes you sharp. And ambition will never thrive in comfort. It only thrives under pressure. So the question is simple. Do you hold yourself accountable to your ambition, or do you just talk about it? Because talkers will always be many, doers will always be few, and the difference between the two is not ambition. Everyone has ambition. The difference is accountability. When you begin to hold yourself accountable, something powerful happens. You stop negotiating with your excuses. You stop postponing your greatness. You stop relying on external validation. You take control. You become your own judge, jury, and executioner. And in that process, you build the kind of character that cannot be broken, the kind of resilience that cannot be faked. Ambition without self-accountability is a wish. Ambition with self-accountability is a weapon. And only those who choose the latter will ever see their dreams come alive. So here is the truth. Stop calling yourself ambitious if you are not willing to hold yourself accountable. Stop claiming big dreams if you are not ready to pay the daily price. Ambition is not about what you want. It is about what you're willing to demand of yourself every single day. And if you are not willing to demand it, then stop lying to yourself. Because ambition without accountability is nothing more than noise. So here's the brutal truth. Most people never make it. Not because they lack potential, but because they lack the stomach for the fight. If you want to make it, you stop hoping and start doing. You stop comforting yourself, and you start confronting your excuses. You stand up, you show up, even if you stumble, and you will, especially if you do. So get up, own your journey, and make tomorrow beg you to deliver today. This is Ray, channeling Vusi level intensity. See you at the top.